Let's get into it. First off, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you for joining our second HOLA Entrepreneur Series. We are HOLA ERG, the Heritage of Latino Alliance. We are an employee resource group through the Office for Diversity and Inclusion. And we always ask that if anyone would like to join, you please email myself or Frank Pabone to join our email distribution list. But without further ado, we have a good friend of mine, also works within the Central Billing Office, Orlando Garcia, who has started his clothing line, I believe now for how many years, man?
It officially started in 2017, but I would say as far as me taking it serious, I would say within the last two to 3 years.
Awesome. So one of the greatest things about it is I remember when we first started talking about this, and you were really like racking your brain about what you wanted to do, because from what I could tell, as far as we've known each other for a long time now, is that whenever you did anything, you wanted to make sure that you did it right and that it was going to be something that people wanted. So
yes.
We're not going to do the conventional tell me about yourself. Tell me about what really inspired you to take this on.
What inspired me? Well, all right. So this is where I told you I'll save it for when we're recording. So even before I started it, like I would say where I'm at now, it's different from where I first started, where in the sense where I'm finally comfortable with me and the brand being in the same room at the same time. And that was one of those things that I explained to myself that to me, it makes sense. So I'll explain it to you. So it does make sense. Whereas I always kept the brand and me separate, whereas it was something that I was doing, but I would just tell you about the brand and show you whatever I released and show you something new that I put out. But as far as what the brand meant to me, so that's what I mean by as far as me and the brand being in the same room. Now I feel more comfortable speaking about the brand and what it means to me. Yes, it is a business because I'm selling stuff, so it has to be a business. But for me, it was never a business. It was more of it was an outlet. It was it's fashion, but you're wearing my thoughts. You're wearing something that I thought about. So it's been a constant tug of war of when I am asked that question, oh, what does it mean to you? And in my head, I'm like, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But I probably went totally away from your question, but I just had to get that out there. Ask that question again.
No, I mean, it's good because it gives insight into, I guess your artistry as you start to make your clothes. But it was really about what inspired you, because I know we had some in-depth conversations about what exactly it is that you wanted to do, but what really made you say, you know what, I'm going to do this?
I would, as far as me having the urge of doing my own brand, I would say it went back to when I first started doing photography. I got my own camera, and this was also one of my creative outlets too. I've picked up a habit of starting new things, and I never fully see them out. So yeah, I did photography for a little while, so shooting other people's brands inspired me to want to have my own brand. But then when I started my own brand, I didn't want to take photos of it because I was too critical of the photos that I took. I never liked any of the photos that I took. So being that it was my own brand, it's like, how am I ever going to put these photos out if I'm not going to like any of them? So I would say this is the first thing that I've pursued consistently and stuck with it. So, but it all started from doing photography for other people's clothing brands. I would see it and I would think, damn, I would do that different, or I would do that this color, or I will wear it this way. Where you really can't tell somebody to do something with their brand. It's because it's their baby. I was just the guy hired to take the photos. So that started I guess that created the bug in my head where it's like, damn, I think I want a brand. And then you sit on the thought, what do I do? Where do I start?
Mm-hmm.
So it started with the hats. This was the hat. I did 12 hats, and they sold out in about a half an hour, which was pretty cool because it was a random idea, and you never think that, oh, my friends are gonna buy it because they have to buy it. Like I've always told you too, I never want anybody buying anything from the brand because they want to support. Like, I appreciate the support, but I'm not doing this to pay my rent. I want you to want to wear it. Like the way, if somebody's wearing it because they're on Zoom right now and they want to be seen, it's cool. But I want to be part of your outfits. I want to be part of your rotation. When you get up, you go on a date with your lady, you hang out with the guys or whatever. That means a lot to me because it's like, oh, you did that on purpose. You didn't know you was going to see me that day. You wore that to go out. So it's that part feels good.
Definitely. So there's a passion into it. I mean, yeah. I mean, every moment has something that you tie to it, right? I mean, we all know that there's an infamous tie to everything that we go through. And yes, clothing is it. I mean, that's something that you pick and choose to put on. So
exactly.
Yeah.
You chose to wear that day. So whenever I see somebody, so whenever I would see people in the office,
mm-hmm.
and a couple of people wore the hoodie or a couple of people, like somebody wore the hat, that made me feel good because that was a calculated decision. So that feels good to me more than, that's why I say like the bit, yeah, it is a business, but it wasn't about selling the merch.
Mm-hmm.
It was about knowing that you're going to wear it. Like, I want you to wear it. Like, if you're going to buy it and then just throw it in the house, then it's like, nah, just give it back. I'll give you your money back. Like, I want you to wear it. That feels good.
Right. All right. And just for anybody out there, merch means merchandise. Just throwing that out there.
Sorry. Yeah, you're sorry.
It's all good. So one of the key things is we know that with 2020, and we spoke about this when Cheryl was on, it was pretty much the year of the career pivot, right? A lot of entrepreneurs started to really dive into any passions that they had.
Yes.
So
yes.
Would you feel like entrepreneurship was always something that you wanted to do someday, or did, 2016, 2017, you just said, you know what, I want to get my thoughts out there. This is what I'm going to do.
It's definitely not something I thought of. I never pictured this. I never pictured having a business. I never pictured having one of my random ideas become a business. So now it's become a thing where it's like, oh man, I kind of got to keep on. Like people like it. People are asking for new things, but not even from the beginning. I'm not gonna say I wasn't taking it serious. I just didn't think it would become something. It was just such a random idea. It was more about, I'm just gonna do this because it feels good to me. Once it started picking up, it was like, it still felt good, but then it became scary because I never wanted it to become a thing where it's being that it feels good to me. If I release something and it doesn't work or nobody buys it or something like that, I didn't want that to affect my mood. So that's why I always, like I always told you, I would take it serious, but I felt like I never gave it my all. The fear of it not working out. And it wasn't the fear of a business failing. It was the fear of, for me, because I never cared about it being a business. It became a business, but it was more of the fear of, I really like the way these colors went together. And then when nobody buys it, it's like, damn, you start feeling like, is your idea not good enough? So, but then with 2020 happening, it was one of those, I became a lot more comfortable with saying, I'm just gonna put it out. Just because I don't love these colors, it doesn't mean somebody might not like these colors. And that's what I learned the hard way.
Yeah. And I think that's the toughest thing as a creator. Not putting everything as far as how you see things, but trying to see it through the lens of the consumer or the people who are, buying your products.
Yes.
Like you may have just did something one day, threw some paint on it and said, hey, I can't waste these shirts. I got to sell them. And they end up being your best selling product.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And, that That might be a shameless plug for Laundry Day, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, so that's actually perfect. So we know you're going through this journey, and while there's a lot of feel good to it, there's, you know, seeing the merchandise sold, seeing people wear it, posting it on social media. We know that with entrepreneurship comes hurdles. And I actually remember one specifically with the name. So tell us a little bit about that story.
All right. So I would say the logo. All right. So here's how it started. Damn, we getting personal. Me and my sister had a fallout. She went to the internet and she said, sometimes I feel like me and my brother are cut from a different cloth. And I asked, I said, I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't know. So me being petty, I said, yeah, I want to do something with a different cloth. Like, I'm gonna turn this argument into, you know, like, oh, let me just do something to get you more mad or whatever, being that you feel like we're cut from different cloths. So I started a different cloth, but I still had the ADC. So again, with the ADC being on the first 12 hats and it's selling, I was like, oh, all right, cool. Let me do 12 more. Those sold out faster. Let me do different colors. Those sold too. So when I came to look at it, I had sold about 150 hats in about 2 months. And it was cool, like, but I still had no idea what I was doing. It was really just me being petty, getting back at my sister. So then I started liking it, and I was like, you know what? Let me go through the process of securing the name, make sure I could use a different cloth. And I started the process of reaching out to a trademark attorney. That's actually really expensive. You pay about $800, $900 for them to do the application, and then it's non-refundable. So when the trademark registry got back to me and told me that I couldn't use it because somebody had those, and it wasn't the exact name, but somebody had different cloth in their name already. So my trademark didn't get approved. So that's a waste of $900. So I was like, listen, I don't have a plan B. I don't love this idea that much. I'm just gonna stop. So I was talking to my mother-in-law. We were sitting down, and she told me, she's like, so you're just gonna stop? And I was like, yeah, like, you know, I can't use a different cloth. She's like, but you got to come up with something else. And I'm sitting there brainstorming. I have to keep the ADC because I already have the ADC logo. So I'm thinking, what can I do with ADC? I said, I got to come up with like a different idea, a different concept. And my mother-in-law goes, why not use that? And I said, what? She goes, a different concept. So I didn't like the name, because I was like, I was just saying something. I didn't plan it to be the name. But then when I started looking up what a concept is, what it's an idea, it's a thought, it's something, you know, used to sell a commodity, to sell something. I said, wait, I started liking concept more than cloth. Cloth was me just trying to be cute. Concept was, wait, no, these are really ideas. So that's once I started looking at that name, paid another $800, $900 for the trademark. Ouch. That got approved. That got approved. So I was like, all right, I made an investment, so I got to keep on doing it. So once I secured the name, that's when it helped me get more attached to it, because now it's like, you can use the name. You can take this name and run with it.
Beautiful. So two things. I love the backstory of the family turning, you know, turmoil into something that you could forever go to your sister and be like, aha, I started this great company because you got on my nerves. And
but now she gonna think she owns she needs percentage.
The royalties.
Yeah, she needs percentage.
Yeah, we probably need to delete this recording after.
Yeah. We're gonna just backspace delete.
And then your mother-in-law giving her opinion. And I remember like talking to you that day at the job, and I mean, like, you would think somebody would look so defeated knowing they spent that much money just to hear, yeah, you can't use this. It's like, it hurts, you know what I mean? Because in a way you've kind of internalized the idea, not necessarily the name, but the idea that this is the angle you were going. Or did you feel something else?
You know what worked for me? and this sounds horrible, but these are just things that work for me. I always say I'm optimistically pessimistic.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's not going to go well. So that way, when something does go well, it means that much more to me. It's more of a surprise, where I feel like if you go into it expecting it to work, you set yourself up for failure. So when I had looked through the trademark registry and I saw people with different cloth and different cloth clothing brand and all these other people who've used different cloth, it was like, oh, it's not going to get approved. It's not going to get approved. And when it didn't, it was what I thought was going to happen. So it became back to the drawing board. They didn't get approved. I didn't think it would. So that worked for me.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's definitely good to hear. So now we're here in 2021, right? And as you start to expand, what are you doing now? You say you started with the hats. What's going on right now? I mean, of course, I have on the shirt, but you could talk to people, especially like, what are you doing with the brand? Where do you at least see the brand going from here?
So even before I get to where I see the brand, I would say a pivotal moment for the brand was with doing the dad hats. Because even prior to doing dad hats, I never wore dad hats. I would wear fitted hats, snap hats. I'm a dude from the Bronx, so we had our Yankee fitteds with Timbs, and it was like a default uniform. But so the dad hats wasn't that cool to me. But when I did the dad hats, females were buying them. A lot of females were buying them. So then I started saying to myself, is this a unisex brand now? Like, I just thought about making hats for me and my 3 friends. But then when I saw my wife with the hat and it looked nice on her, and then I would see other females with the hats, I started thinking, well, this is pretty cool. But now if I do clothing, I can't just come out and say, oh, these are men's t-shirts.
Right. So
that became the next headache of trying to find unisex, because I didn't know how many female customers I would have. So I didn't know if I could just do a specifically female shirt. So everything in the beginning had to be unisex. But I would say now the brand has grown to a point where I can specifically do a female release. And I was able to do that last May when I did a sweatsuit for the ladies, and I really liked the way the sweatsuit came out. So that was my first female piece.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was kind of upset you didn't do the hoodie for the men too, but I mean, me and you go back and forth about some of the stuff.
That's also the headache too, where when you're dealing with wholesalers, if that set doesn't come with a hoodie, it's like, I would love to do a hoodie, but they didn't make a hoodie.
Well, at least the demand is there, right? If they ever have it for you. And that was a great lesson to learn too. And anybody who's here, just knowing that if you ever want to get into this field, you have to deal with the manufacturers. I guess tell them a little bit about establishing a manufacturer, actually looking at cost efficient brands, materials, stuff like that, little details like that.
Oh, so let them know about the not fun part. Okay.
Yes.
So the one thing that people always say to me, and it's one of those things where is you wish you could just blow up, but you don't, is, man, you should have did this way. You should have did this color.
Guilty.
I would have loved to do it that color. I would love to do it that color. But when you're dealing with manufacturers, it's so now, like, let's say for a t-shirt brand like Gildan, it's one of I'm not gonna say it's lower quality, but it's more affordable. But it's a heavy cotton t-shirt. It doesn't have the like the fashion fit, like the way your sleeves right there look real good on your muscles.
Yeah, exactly.
The Gildans are not gonna do that. I didn't want to do Gildan t-shirts. So now you start looking at, all right, so what wholesaler has better fitting shirts? And then once you find a brand that has better fitting shirts, what colors do they come in? How do they run on females? Now when you find a brand that's good quality, do they do unisex? Because I still want to cater to, the woman audience. So it's a lot of trial and errors. And a lot of times with these wholesale websites, they charge you restocking fees. So So even in the process of doing the sweatsuits, I ordered a couple sweatsuits from different brands, and I didn't like the way these felt. I didn't like the strings on these. The cuffs felt cheap, So every time I sent it back, it's 8%, 5%, no refunds. It adds up. But at the end of the day, when I finally did release the female sweatsuit, I loved the way it came out. So all of that trial and error ends up being worth it. But it's one of those things where it's like, if I have the idea today, I start researching the vendors, I order stuff, I feel it, I inspect it myself. So by the time it comes out, it's like, oh man, I wanted this for the summertime, but it's about to be fall. And it's not even a being lazy kind of thing. It's more of a, nah, these things take time.
Definitely. So, of course, along the way, you hope, or I guess let me know. We know that when we start something at first, our friends are there, and to your point, either they're just supporting you to support you, or they're actually believing in your dream and your brand. Along the way, was there any real obstacles with, as far as the support, or even just so, getting your brand in front of the right people to get that exposure?
You know what happens with that? You start a brand and you think your friends are going to be the first ones to support, and that's not true. You read all these memes and you read all these quotes sometimes, and they sound bitter and they sound like you're upset. Like a stranger shows you more support than one of your friends, and until you're in that position, you start seeing that some of my dopest customers are people I have no clue who they are. Like I have this one kid from Ohio. We met through Instagram, and anytime I release something, he orders it. He orders a couple, and I have no idea who this guy is. But we started a dialogue, and we do have conversations, which is actually pretty cool to me, because now I'm speaking to people that I would have never probably had a conversation with, and it was all through the brand. But then the people who are your direct circle, you'll send them the photo of something you release, and they'll just send you like a fire emoji, or like, oh, that's cool. And in my head, I was like, buy it. Like, I really want you to buy it. I'll give you a discount. Like, I want you to wear it. You're my friend. So those are one of the things you end up noticing about with the support. Like, who ends up supporting you?
Now I look back, because I think I sent you a couple fire emojis. I didn't know
No. You went through with the purchase. So that's different.
See, now I'm gonna be self-conscious. Now I'm gonna have to find another emoji to send you, because I don't want to send fire no more.
So your thumbs up emoji.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna just go full Brooklyn and say, all right, bet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. All right, yeah, that's great. And I'm glad you bring that up, because that is something very true. And that's natural with anything that you're chasing, as far as your dream or something that you really want to accomplish. A lot of the times, the first people to really be there for you and support you are people who have zero knowledge of you, have zero invested in your future. They just, for some reason, believe in you, the energy you bring. And I mean, that's how we met. We met off of, I'm going to ask you, see if you remember. You remember how we met back in 37th Street?
I was probably being a clown. I'm not sure.
It was actually off of fashion. It was off of Prada sneakers.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yes.
And here we are, right?
Yes.
Like, what, a decade later, and you got your own brand.
Full circle talking about fashion again.
Exactly. So it was definitely destined, man. So I guess the next question I would ask is, I guess, tell the people, as far as social media and promotion. Now, some of us can get on here and they can get on social media and sell water. Like, we know Frank. Frank can sell you anything, because he's just got that gift of gab, right? You have the gift of gab, but I just have to ask, with promoting your brand, did you feel just as comfortable as when you would just be having a normal conversation?
No, as far as promoting it, no, because I feel like when you're promoting it, you're promoting it to strangers. You're trying to get that audience. You're trying to gain customers. Whereas if me and you were having a conversation about it, that was easy. So even if you look at it now, it ends up becoming promotion. but I wasn't really promoting you. I wasn't really promoting what I was releasing. I was just so excited to show you the new t-shirt, the new hat, where I guess you could read the excitement and you get the feeling of, wow, he really, you know, he's really confident about this piece. He sold it to me. Where in my head, I wasn't trying to sell it. I was just like really excited about this colorway that I did or this t-shirt that I did. So the promoting it, I would definitely say I still need a lot of work on that. But now I feel more comfortable promoting it in the sense of I'm doing it for me. At the end of the day, I'm really doing it for me.
Excellent, excellent. In about 5-10 minutes, gonna open it up to the group for interactive questions. We definitely want to put Orlando on the spot. We can ask him everything and anything. Just kidding. We're still at work, people. But before we get to that, just you can either throw it in the chat or in another 5-10 minutes, I'll just ask you to, you know, come off mute and you can ask Orlando, but I'll let everyone know whatever way you feel comfortable, whether you want to put it in the chat or come off mute. At 12:40, we'll start that. So just giving you guys a heads up. So coming from that, from the promotion stage, so now you're promoting, right? Yeah. Tell us about some of the notable names that have actually purchased your brand.
A notable name that's purchased. See, that's where it gets messy. with the promoting a brand, you find yourself sending a bunch of free stuff to people with the hopes that they post it, and that post leads to a couple sales. Hasn't happened. So it gets to a point where I rather give a fashionable person. So like, let's say somebody like you who dresses well. I'd rather give you a hat that I know you have sneakers to match with before I send one to a celebrity with 20,000, 213,000 followers, where they're probably not going to post it the way you would. Mm-hmm. So there's an IG comedian, Tonio Skits. I'm friends with the mother of his kids, and she said, oh, I'll talk to him to see if he could promote something. It was the driest promo that I was like, I'd rather not have that. Like, I don't. If you're gonna promote it like that, just don't do it at all. Right. Because you look at his videos and they're high energy videos, and then just an ADC picture and it's like, dope brand, cop it. I was like, oh no, like, no, that's not the promo I want. Right. So if anything, I would say the coolest thing that's happened with the brand was there's a DJ by the name of Ralphie Mercado, and he DJs at a spot that I go to a lot with my wife. We got to go to one of those brunches, by the way. We'll have that conversation off air.
Definitely.
But we did my birthday there. He was shouting me out, you know, for the birthday or whatever, and I picked up this new habit of just, I want to meet the DJs. You know, I like music. I like music a lot.
Yes.
If you DJ'd and you had a good set, I want to meet you. You DJ, I have a brand. I don't know how they, you know, coincide with each other, but I still wanted to meet you, tell you thank you, you know, let me bring you merch. I brought him a t-shirt and he wore it right away. Then it was another t-shirt that he got and he wore it to one of his other more popular spots. So to me, that was cool because first of all, I wasn't there that day. He wore it, he posted the brand, he shouted it out. So that, to me, that was one of my moments where it was like, oh, this is pretty cool. People like the brand.
Yeah, that's always good when you could make a connection between your brand and someone else out there who already has a brand, because that's one of the key things I think is missing from entrepreneurship is when people, especially our own people, come and try and help us out.
You see it, you get a lot.
You know what I mean? And listen, that's a whole nother conversation that I can go
into. Yeah, that's a different ballgame.
You know what I mean? But it just seems to be this hoarding of information, like there's not enough money and people out there for everyone to succeed. And it's one of the saddest things you see. But I listen, that's great that you were able to make that connection, man. That's really awesome. You know, so I'm gonna go back because we're in 2021 now. Where do you see the brand going? Like, are we talking like the Met Fashion Week, or are we talking more, you know, like keeping it local?
So that's still a conversation that I have with myself every day, where it's starting to work and things are selling faster, which is it's a cool problem to have. But then that's when the part that's not so fun you end up having to take it more serious, which is the business part.
Right.
Which, you know, I didn't go into it wanting to have a business. It ended up being a business because I'm selling stuff and people are still buying it. But like I do want the brand to grow, but I still want to be able to have my hands on everything. I still want to be able to have a conversation with people. I still want to get the order. I want it to be successful, but I don't want it to be so big where you start needing staffs and it becomes harder to talk to me because this person does this and this person does this, where it's kind of like, I still like having the one-on-one conversations. I still enjoy writing out the shipping addresses. You could get a printer and print that out. Like, but I really like writing on the bag. Like I like writing, you know, I like writing who it's to and the address, and like I feel good. I feel like I had a connection with that person.
Yeah.
So it's a weird, where do you want the brand to go? You want it to win. You want to win, of course, but I don't want it to get to a point where it's out of my hands and you got to relinquish. But then that's a good problem to have too. I don't know where I want it to go, Sean. I don't know.
Yeah, because I was talking to my nephew the other day, and he had went through a whole Goldman Sachs business program, and there's two trajectories for a business, right? There's the point where you, to your point, relinquish it, right? You've done all you can and you sell it, or it actually just plummets, right? You know, and so we don't want the latter, of course.
No.
You know, it's really just only two trajectories, right? So does ADC now turn into something else, right? You know how some people, they start out as a media company and then all of a sudden they become, you know, a big in trucking business. Like,
I like that question. I like that question.
Yeah. So
you set that up well. I feel like the name A Different Concept opens up the door for any creative idea because it's the concept. It's just an idea. It started out in fashion, but I have ideas in plenty other things. So I would like it I would like A Different Concept to be a bigger brand than just fashion. So you know what, you're right. Yeah, you're right. For the name, I would want to be able to put out multiple creations and it all falls under a different concept, whether it be media, whether it be art or anything, podcasting, anything like that. It all falls under a different concept because it's just an idea.
Yeah, so see, I love that. I love when people can take something and just build on it, because now, you know, you set yourself up for your family to turn this into something bigger as it goes along.
And that's where, so you know what, I would say A Different Concept as a fashion brand, I don't know how big I want it to go, but A Different Concept as a name, as a brand that covers anything, any and everything creative, that I like. Like that I would want to grow. That's the business. A Different Concept, the business part, that I want to grow. The fashion part, it's my baby. It's my first creation. So yeah, that was a good question because it made me think about it too.
Definitely. All right, so let's dig into this chat. I see some people throwing some questions in here. Let's see. Caroline was asking, what do you have a picture of a dad hat? I mean, what he's wearing is a dad hat, Caroline.
So Caroline, the dad hat is one of these flimsy hats. And I don't know why it's called a dad hat. I didn't create the origin of the name. It's just always been called the dad hat.
Yeah.
Well, my full question was that I know what merch is, and I know what a dad bod is. I just didn't know that's a dad hat. Okay.
Carolyn, stop talking about us, okay?
Exactly. That's why I was not going to talk about anybody. This is about inclusion.
I'll do it. Thank you, Orlando. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. She said dad bod. She said dad bod. I said, oh man. I guess the guys with the dad bods look good with the dad hats. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Listen, I seen a commercial. I don't know if has anybody seen this commercial. It's a guy dancing and he's in shorts, and it's a promotion for chubby shorts, and it's a promotion for chubby men who want to buy a swimming trunk. It is hilarious.
It,
Like,
it's
Oh,
really
no.
funny. It is really funny.
he's
Not that I have anything
dancing
to
in
do with that,
slow
I'm just-
motion.
I
It's
have to look that
hilarious.
up.
But when you think about promotion and how you're going to get people to buy your brand, I may not think about anything fashion wise, but I love that advertisement. I'm probably never
Yeah.
going to buy any of those shorts.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you'll remember it. You'll remember it though.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's also part of the promotion too, being memorable.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Thank you, Sean.
Um,
Thank you, Orlando.
Oh,
You're
no
welcome, Ms.
problem.
Brown. Thank you. So next we have a question from Nydia. Where can she buy your merchandise? So for the instance of, this event, I suggest you connect with Orlando offline, Nydia, and he can definitely share that information with you. I don't want any issues with ODI as far as that, but Orlando, I'll share his information with you and all of that, and he can definitely connect you with where to go to get everything.
Yes. Yes.
Excellent. All right, so we got Donna here. I find your products to be of good quality with logo on. Do you take orders with special requests, such as if a customer wants to add a flag, a theme, or personal photo?
So that I don't do because I don't have the equipment to do it. It's all of those the one-off projects and stuff like that. As exciting as they sound, they end up being a lot of work. And not that I don't want to do the work, but just having the brand itself is a lot of work. So I think it's adding more to already complicated idea.
Yeah, trust me, because I asked him to do some special stuff for me when he first did the jacket, and he told me no. I didn't know how to feel after that, but
And it wasn't no in a mean way. It was one of those things where if you wanted a jacket with embroidery, the embroiderer does a minimum of 12. So I have to get 12 other jackets done just to get you your one jacket that says Mr. Lee. And I got to hold 11.
It's a motivation. It's a motivation. It had a theme behind it.
I got to hope 11 other people have that same name.
All right. So let's keep moving. We got a statement/question here from Michelle. Cross promotion is great. Have you set up business pages on social media like Instagram, Facebook, etc.?
I do have the business pages. Yes, I do have the business pages.
Yeah. So once again, Michelle, I would say just connect with Orlando. I can connect you to after this, and he can definitely share his pages with you. And yeah, definitely. All right, so next up, this is more of a statement from Denise from Team 8. Congrats, Orlando. I didn't even know you had a company while in the office. I found you through a friend that was wearing your yellow hat that she liked and then realized it was you. So definitely promote yourself.
So the trick with that is you gotta secure the 9-to-5 money before you secure your hobby money.
Say it again.
I didn't know. I didn't feel as comfortable walking around the office saying, "Hey, I got a business," and you don't want it to become an HR thing.
That's right. That's right.
So that's one of those things where it's like, I'll tell people I have no problem talking about it, but you still have to protect the 9-to-5 money. I'm not making health insurance money.
That's right. That's right. I can't tell you how many people I ran into. They was like, this is how I take care of my health, and this is how I pay the bills.
Exactly.
This is my dream. This is my passion, and this is where I'm going. So definitely.
Can't have the dream mess up your 9-to-5.
That's right. That's right. We got a good question here from Richard. How does unisex sizing compare to regular men's and women's sizing?
So the unisex sizing, what I've noticed is it's the biggest thing where you notice is in the sides. It's a little bit more fitted in the sides, where a regular men's t-shirt will always have that box feel to it. So with a, like, let's say if a woman wore the men's t-shirt, it looks a lot more spacious. So she might have to go a size down or 2 sizes down. Whereas with the unisex, if she wears a medium in a woman's shirt, she could still get one of my t-shirts, a medium. The sleeves just might be a little bit longer, but it doesn't look like a lady wearing a man's t-shirt.
So Orlando, I got a question then. I'm asking for a friend.
Sure.
If he happens to have a dad body, would you suggest that he would order a size up since it's a unisex size? Again, I'm asking for a friend.
Go a size up. Tell your friend. If he wants it to fit it, then get his regular size. But if he's looking to go a size up to have a little bit more space, then go the size up.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that, but I'll let him know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Let your friend know. Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate your friend. Thank you. All right. So a couple statements in the chat from, I believe this is Raina. The shirts are great quality and they definitely last a long time. Another person, I don't know who this is, as a business owner, very proud of you, and they're one of your biggest supporters.
Sean, that was me, not to cut you off. That was me.
Perfect.
But, you know, I just wanted to say that
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Hey,
you know,
Cheryl.
when it comes to Orlando's brand, you know, he and I, like, we had a connection from the start, you know. And if you look at any one of my catering pictures, what hat do you see? I'm wearing his hat.
All the hats.
And you know, when I cater, these are the hats that I wear. And it's so funny because they fit so well, you know what I mean? And I go to different places and I cater with a lot of different people. So, you know, when they say, oh, is that your brand? I said, no. I said, I cross promote for one of my friends. I said, this is his brand. And I always send them to the website. I said, you know, check him out. You know, they're very good quality. I know one of my workers said, well, can we get our own hats? I said, no, we're using these hats. You know what I mean? And every time I do something and I go somewhere and I'm with a celebrity, I always say, listen, I need you to take a picture for me with this hat. I took a picture. I sent it to you for one of the guys from Black Ink, and another Rip Michaels from Wildin' Out. You know, so I said, you know, I try to promote you because I know as a business owner, your brand is so important to you, and you know, we just have to, like, you know, just keep it together and just support one another. So proud of you. You know, keep up the good work, and you know, you're gonna go far, definitely. And I'm looking forward to some new items. Okay.
All right. I want to say I really appreciate your support. And those are the things that, Sean, when we were talking about like your friends supporting you, whereas you could have a friend who you knew your whole life hanging out with people and they won't tell them about your brand. Where Cheryl I met at work, and she's wearing a hat to her gigs and she's telling people about the brand, where that ends up being really, really, it's humbling because she doesn't have to do that. She has her own brand. She's trying to promote her own brand. But then she'll still take out time to talk about somebody else's brand. And sometimes that's one of the things that only another creative person is gonna support another creative person. If you want to see that person win, because a lot of times another creative person could be your biggest, you know, they'll start talking about your brand for no reason.
Exactly.
So it's always
and
cool when another creator,
and a good
and
heart.
Whenever I go on vacation, I always take a hat to match an outfit, and it's always a conversation piece. Always. So you've been around the world with me quite a bit, so you're good.
So for Caroline, this is why doing the dad hat was so much more important, because let's say if you ladies don't feel like doing your hair that day, you can just throw on the dad hat.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll do that. But you know, I have an idea. So Sean, you have to make 12 so that Sean can get his 1. So go ahead and make 12. Give Sean his 1 and give the other 11 to Cheryl.
That's why me and Ms. Brown are here. See that? See? That's why me and Ms. Brown
Brooklyn? Where Brooklyn at?
That's that Brooklyn connection. That's right. Perfect. All right, so we got Carmen. So proud of you. Love your products. She's still trying to take pictures with your merchandise on in every state or location she travels, especially
She's
on
been
the
consistent with
beach.
that.
Yes,
She's been
on the
consistent with that.
beach or in karaoke, because we all know Carmen's a karaoke queen.
She's been consistent. I really appreciate that. I appreciate that as well. The vacation photos are always fun to see.
Yeah.
I wish it was me there instead of a hat, but I'll have to do with the hat being there.
Mm-hmm. And just that's what's so important about putting your all into not just your merchandise, but your personality and how you sell your stuff, right? Because that's something that goes farther than you now, right? Now,
Yeah.
your product can be in Florida, it can be wherever Cheryl's doing her catering at, it can be where I'm. That's the beauty of it, but it doesn't go that far unless, like you said, you make that personal connection with people.
Yeah. Well, that's also one of the, I would say, one of the bigger steps that I've taken this year, as far as letting you know who I am as a person first, so then you could make your own decision on if you want to support the brand or not. That's why I say I always separated the two, because the way I joke, or just sometimes the way I am, I could be moody at times where, you might not want to support the brand, where now it's one of those things where it's, listen, if you're gonna wear the brand, you're gonna support the brand, it has to be because you know who's behind the brand. How many brands do we wear that we know nothing about the owners? And then something comes out in the news and you're like, oh, I never knew he was like that. So now I feel like it's my duty to let you know who I am as a person, how I feel, how I am feeling, what I'm going through, so that when you do make your purchases, like, nah, I like this owner. Or even if you don't, you might like the shirt, but you still know that you don't like the owner. You get to make a decision on how you feel about who runs the brand. Well, so I felt that was important to me.
Yeah, that's why I love supporting new businesses and brands that are starting. I don't like saying small businesses, because that is trying to put a size on something.
It limits it.
Exactly, right? So I like new businesses because I like that personal connection, right? You got people out there who spend thousands of dollars on brands, but these people probably don't even like them. You know what I mean? And they're continuing to support them, but then they won't spend $20 to $30 with their friend who is pretty much in the same boat as them, trying to make something happen.
All the time. You see that all the time.
Yes. And you know what my next question is going to be, right? Have you gotten the infamous, can I get a discount question?
Oh, all the time. And I find that so rude, man. Like, I don't mind doing a discount. I'll look out for you, but let me look out for you.
Right.
Let me look out for you. Where it's kind of like, do you want me to win or not? When you wear the hat, do you want it to look like you wore a knockoff hat, or you wore a brand who's rising? So the brand is not going to grow if I keep on giving away free things. So again, I don't mind discounting, but it's weird when you ask me. It's kind of like, you take it as when you walk into any store and they tell you this is how much this costs. Do you try to negotiate with the person at the register? No, it's either on sale or it's not. You're paying the full price or you're not. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's disrespectful, but it kind of is, because it comes across as, because you know me and because you're face to face with me, you feel comfortable telling me, oh, I buy everything you put out, you should give me one free. Where it's kind of like, damn, then don't buy it.
All right.
If you buying everything I put out is going to cost me a free hat, then don't support it, because then it's like, how am I going to grow if I'm giving away free things?
Absolutely. And I think that's important, for everybody that's attending to hear, like, know your value in your product and whatever it is that you're doing and whatever it is that you believe in, know that the price is the price. You put your work into something, you put your idea, you're all into something, you deserve to get exactly what you're charging people, because you're the one who came up with everything and all you're asking, and they have a choice. You know what I mean? Like you said, they have a choice. They don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
But, respect the value of somebody's hard work. That's important. So what else we have here? We got Lizette. Amazing work, Orlando. How has it been for you balancing your day job and side hobby? And did you have a hard time during COVID?
Is it a hard time balancing it? It's not a hard time balancing it, because your day job is number one. So there's really not a balance. Like
Great
at the end
answer.
of the day,
Great answer. Richard is on, by the way. Great answer.
yeah, no, but that wasn't even the political answer. That was
I'm here. I'm here as an attendee, not as a. And it's my only role. No worries.
It's not even a political answer. It's more of no. I gotta work on my primary job first. You do have those days where you wish that you could just focus on ADC for the whole day. Whereas, let's say I want to release something, so I want to prepare a post that I'm gonna post, and I gotta update the website, and I either have an hour to do it from 12 to 1, or I gotta wait till after 4. But then after 4, I'm also still a husband, so I gotta help with the dishes if there's dishes to be done. Like there's still life still happens. So it's one of those things where the job is always gonna come first. But there is days where you just have that moment where you be like, oh, if I could just focus on this post that I want to post, or I want to look up these fabrics. So I guess if the brand grows big enough, you could hit that crossroad where you could say I don't not need the job, but I want to take the risk. But that's scary. I'm nowhere near there, and I kind of fear being that close to it. Like I good problem to have, but I don't know if I want it.
No, I hear you. And it works as a consumer too, as a husband, right? Because ever since I bought a hat or a shirt, I had to buy double. Because everything I get, my wife wants it too. So it's like, as soon as something come out, like even the new laundry day stuff, I was like, you know what, let me just get her one too. Because if I wear it, I ain't gonna hear the end of it.
Don't show up with a new laundry day shirt. And just one.
That's right. It won't work. It will not work. All right, so we got Kelly. She's super proud of you. Always knew since the first day you met. We all clicked 10 years ago. Anything you touch turns to gold. Her son and her love wearing your good quality clothing. She rocks it like it's her own brand. Love you, bro.
I did not pay for that plug. Thank you, Kelly. I really appreciate that, Kelly. I did not speak to Kelly prior to this.
And anybody who knows Kelly know that doesn't come easy. You know what I mean? If she believes in something, that's really good. And
Kelly just put a crown on my head. Like I just been knighted. Like
that's Kelly. That's exactly how Kelly is. That's awesome. So next we have a question from Solomon. How concerned are you about the knockoff market in your creation? That's a good question.
I can't worry too much about something I can't control. Somebody could come up with a similar idea and at the end of the day, they're not you. So you could try to use the logo, you could try to use my idea, but if you don't use it the way I would use it, or if you at the end of the day, you're just not me, people will notice that eventually. They'll notice the knockoff versus the one that I put thought behind. But I think the brand got to be a lot bigger to work. I'm not at that level of worrying about knockoffs. I would love to be knocked off. That means that means a lot of people want it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, that's awesome. You already getting
knockoff is a good problem.
Yeah, if I ever go to Fulton Street and I see an ABC shirt, I'm gonna be like, yo, Orlando,
I made it.
You made it.
I'm in Chinatown.
Definitely. I love this one from Qatari. Leave the negotiations to the non-par team. We'll make sure they pay 100%. That is beautiful. I love that one.
So I'm gonna forward all of those messages to your team.
We got a question here from Anita, and then after this, I'll just leave it if you have any last thoughts. Have you considered using MailChimp as an email distribution listing to promote your brand, to keep your customers updated on the new and upcoming merch?
So I've looked into MailChimp, and I've looked into a couple other email services. The provider that I use Wix. They have their own. I would say that's one of the things that I need to get better at as far as utilizing the emails. Again, when I'm sitting there thinking about it, I like the idea of the texting, because I feel like we open text messages more than we open emails.
Absolutely.
But even with that, which service is going to be good? How much do they charge? Do they charge per text? How many texts can you send out in a month? It's never, you get the idea, but then when you start putting the idea in motion of executing it, that's when it becomes not fun. So I would like to do the emailing, but also texting as well.
Perfect. All right, so with a couple seconds, man, any last thoughts?
Thank you for having me on. Like, I really appreciate this. I started out nervous. I feel more comfortable now. But the one thing that I really want to make sure that happens is Richard. So that background behind you, Richard's going to be in the next one.
Let's add him to the spotlight. Go ahead, Richard.
I was just going to say, one of the things you got to be careful of is targeting a demographic. If you're looking for an old guy's dad bod collection, I could hook you up.
that might help me grow my demographic as well.
Definitely. Every
I'll be there for you. Love to work with you.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, even Kelly said it. That's diversity. That's exactly why we're here.
The dad bod collection.
Oh man, that would be perfect. That would be perfect. Listen, Orlando, thank you so much for giving us some time to talk. Of course, me and you are going to talk a lot more, have more detailed conversations going forward, because I know your brand is just going to continue to the moon. I want to thank everybody for attending. I want to thank ODI for facilitating this. We appreciate you here at HOLA. I put in the chat where you can email if you want to join our distribution list to be updated on future events. And we just ask that we all work together to really make sure that diversity and inclusion is a part of us every day. Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.